Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and to another episode of Flute Life with Katie Flute. If you're new here and you enjoy flute and music related content, then please take a second and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos from me. I post new videos at least once a week. For those of you that view my channel regularly, you might realize that I am not in my normal setup in my New York City apartment. I was actually able to get out of New York almost 3 weeks ago now, and I'm currently at my parents' home in Pennsylvania. So I hope all of you are doing okay out there and that you're all staying safe and healthy. So today I wanted to show you guys something that can help you pass the time while you are all stuck at home. I'm going to be showing you how I play my videos where I am doing a self-collaboration where I'm playing duets or trios or quartets with myself. So there are many ways to make these types of videos, and probably the simplest way would be to use the Acapella app on your phone. I've used the Acapella app in the past, and it's great if you want to make a really quick collaboration with a friend or if you don't want to spend too much time editing a video. However, there are some problems with the Acapella app, and one of them is that it really reduces the video and the audio quality. Also in the Acapella app, you're restricted to using their own layouts for videos that they have, and I believe that if you want to have a video longer than 60 seconds, you have to pay for the premium version. My method takes a bit more effort and skill, but the end result sounds and looks much more professional, and I personally think that it's worth the extra time. So if you want to know how I make these types of videos, then keep watching. So the tools that you're going to need are a camera, an audio recorder. This is optional, but I highly recommend one if possible. A cell phone, a pair of headphones, your instrument, and the music you want to play. Jack Russell is optional, but highly recommended. I also want to mention that it is possible to do this without a camera and to just record the video and audio on your cell phone, but there will be an extra step involved, which I will talk about later. Okay, so I have my camera and my recording device set up over here, as well as my cell phone, which is recording on voice memos. I only use my cell phone for recording the first part, which I will explain more about in a bit. Also, before I start recording everything, I wanted to show you guys the flute that I'm going to be playing on today. This is a Powell handmade conservatory flute, and the head joint is by the maker Song. The head joint is sterling silver, and it has a beautiful engraved lip plate with diamonds, which is crazy. It is so gorgeous and unique, and I'm super excited to share it with you all and to get to play on it. This flute and the head joint are both from the Flute Center of New York, who is sponsoring this video, so a huge thanks to them. The Flute Center is located in New York City, but they also ship worldwide, and they have a huge collection of flutes. They've given me a code for all of you guys to use when shopping there, and if you use my code KTFL, you'll be able to unlock some special perks like free shipping, an extended 10-day trial period, which means that they will ship 3 flutes or head joints or piccolos to you for free, and you can keep them and try them for up to 10 days. Also, if you do decide to purchase anything, you will get an extended 18-month warranty. My code will also get you 10% off all flute sheet music. I'll put all that info in the description box below in case you guys are interested. Hi buddy, you can come in. Do you want to be on the camera? Okay, so now that all of my recording devices and my camera are rolling, I'm going to record the first part of the duet. And this little buddy was just at the door. He wanted to come in and see what I was doing. So Henry, say hello to YouTube. Say hello to the YouTube world. Say hi. Okay. You're gonna sit over there and behave. Listen. Here we go out. Tough crowd. Okay, so now I'm going to listen back to what I just recorded, make sure it sounds decent. Okay, so that sounds usable. The next step is to record the second part of the duet while listening to what I just recorded. So for this next step, I'm going to be listening to the audio track that I recorded on the voice memos in my phone. But if you're going to be using your phone to record the audio or the video or both for your final product, you're going to need to do an extra step. you're going to have to import what you just recorded off of your phone onto your computer, and then you're going to have to listen from your computer while you record the next part. Since I'm using my Zoom and my camera for this, obviously I'm going to skip that step. I also wanted to mention that it is possible to do all of this by just listening to a metronome in your earphones instead of listening to the recording of yourself. But unless I'm playing something super fast and complicated, I find that listening to myself is a lot easier to fit things together, and then plus I also am able to listen for the pitch to make sure that my intonation is as good as it can be. Okay, so now that I've finished playing the second part, it's time to go to the computer and edit. So the first thing I do is I go into iMovie and I import both the video and the audio file from the first flute part of the duet. If you have a MacBook or any type of Apple computer, you have iMovie. And if you have a PC, I believe you have Windows Movie Maker, which I think is pretty similar to iMovie. So now I need to line up the audio from the video with my audio file. And I already did this, but I'm going to show you here that this is normally what it would look like before you mute the audio from the video. And you need to go in and make sure that the audio lines up exactly with what you're seeing here. And of course, you can also go in and listen and make sure that it's exactly lined up. So that is lined up perfectly. I did clap right before I recorded, so then I lined up the claps, and then I'm just making sure that these sound waves are lined up. And now I'm going to go in and mute the audio from the video so that all we're left with is the audio from the Zoom recorder. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit here because you can see you don't want the audio to get into this yellow or red zone where it's cracking. And that looks good. I'm not moving ahead of the audio or behind the audio here. And so then I'm going to go ahead and export that file. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and do the same thing to the second flute part. I'm going to go look for where I clapped, which is right here, and then sync up the audio with the video. I think my dad was washing the window or something outside. Something was making a weird noise, but that seems about right. Let's see how it sounds here. Yep, so these are all lined up. Now I'm going to mute the audio from the video. I'm going to zoom it out a little bit. Oops, too much. And I'm going to select, I think the last time I did it is the time that I wanted. And then I'm going to go and trim the beginning of that clip and then the end so that all I'm left with is exactly the part that I'm playing. And then I'm also going to go in and lower the volume of the audio clip a little bit because we don't want it in that yellow zone like we talked about before. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing and export this into a new file. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and create another new project. And then I'm going to need whatever background I want for the videos. That's going to be the main clip that's going to go right here. It's not actually going to be the video itself, but that's going to be the base layer that I'm going to layer the clips over. So you can use any background you want. I normally just take a screenshot of something black, or if you want a specific color, that's cool too. But for this, I'm just going to go in here, screenshot that, and then go to my desktop and drag that there. And then this is going to have to be the length of the video. So I think it's like about a minute long. And now I'm going to go in and add my first layer. So the first clip that I need is going to be the first flute part, and then I'm going to drag it over top of this black background so that it's like an overlay. And then up here, there's a few options. The easiest one might be to use split screen, but I personally don't use it very often because you have to be further away from the camera and it kind of limits you to this specific rectangle shape. So unless you're really lined up with the camera, part of you is going to be cut off. So instead, I like to use where it says picture in picture. And then I always like to put the dissolve on 0. And then you can also go in here, you can crop the video if you feel like there's some extra space and you want to zoom in a little bit. So I might do that right here. That looks good. And then I'm going to go back over here and you see how now you have this black background and you can drag this image around and position it wherever you want. So I think because there's this extra space over here, I'm going to line this up like this. And you can use these yellow lines as the guidelines to make sure that it is exactly symmetrical and lined up correctly. And because there's only 2 videos, I think I'm going to try to put it in the middle over here. And that looks pretty good. So now that I have my first layer done, I'm going to go ahead and export that as a new file. So then I'm going to go in once again and create a new project. And then I'm going to go take that first layer that I created and import it into iMovie. So now you see this has become the base layer, and then I'm going to drag the second flute part over top of it, just like we did with the first flute part. So now this part is a little bit trickier because I'm going to have to make sure that the audio from both parts lines up exactly how I want it. And then once again, I'm going to go up here, do picture in picture, delete the dissolve, and then maybe crop it a little bit just because of that extra space. And then I'm going to go back here, and now see I can move this around just like I did with the other one. I'm just going to make sure that it's lined up correctly. So that looks pretty good. So now it's lined up visually. I know there's a lot of black space around here. If you wanted to, you could put the title of the piece that you're playing, or if I was further away from the camera, it would have been a bit easier to fill up this space without cropping myself out of the frame. But there's many different ways you can do this. And also if you had multiple parts, if you had 4 parts, you could line them up without all this black space. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to sync up the 2 parts and make sure that they start together. So I'm going to trim this bit a little bit, and then luckily with this duet, it's pretty simple. Both flute parts start at the exact same time. If you had something where one person comes in first, it's a little bit more tricky to figure it out. Okay, so my computer's a little bit slow and laggy because I'm waiting on my new external hard drive because I've filled up another terabyte of space on this external hard drive yet again. It's a problem when you're using iMovie and working with big video files. You definitely might want to invest in an external hard drive. But anyway, so that sounds pretty good. Let's just listen to it one more time and make sure it's exactly how we want it. Sounds good. I think I'm going to lower the volume of the second part just slightly so that it's more accompaniment-like. Yeah, so that sounds good. I'm going to go in here and trim this just to make sure that it starts and ends at the exact same time visually. And like I said, the video is just lagging behind because my computer is thinking and trying to process everything. But that's going to be your finished product. And then you can go up here, export it. So there you have it. That's my method for creating these types of self-collaboration videos. I hope that this video was helpful and that it inspires you to create your own self-collaboration videos. If you do end up making any, please leave the links to them in the comments of this video or tag me in them over on Instagram. I would love to see what you guys come up with. So once again, a huge thank you to the Flute Center of New York for sponsoring this video and for making it possible. And like I said before, I will have all the information for them and the flute that I played in this video in the description box below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you stay safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video.